I want to be a better version of myself. I'm not nearly as disciplined as I'd like to be, and that's a problem. I wake up too late, I don't work out as often as I should, and well, my diet, that's actually pretty decent. I'm not looking to become that girl. You know, the 6 a.m. pink Pilates, clean aesthetic girly, or that Instagram woman with the perfect routine that everyone strives to be for about a week. I've been there too. No shade at all. That's a cool lifestyle, but it's not me. And chances are, it's not you either. I did the wake up at 6 a.m. and jump straight to Pilates for a few weeks. I did that. It was cool, but I knew that it was not sustainable for me. Personally, I love a good late afternoon workout, like after 5. That is typically when I have my most energy. That is when I am most creative. It's usually after that midday slump. I get a crazy mid afternoon slump between the times of like 3 to 5 p.m. And then after that, I can do anything. And I do typically like to work out, but I also really love working and editing at that time. I get it done so quickly. I also know that 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. is the ideal time for me to wake up. That's actually when I feel most rested and just ready to go. I literally cannot sleep past 8 a.m. no matter how late I went to sleep the night before. I don't know what it is. I guess that's just how my circadian rhythm is set up. It's important to know what your circadian rhythm is. I get my best work done after about 5 p.m. That's typically when I'm most creative and have the most ideas. Adopting and attempting to adapt to somebody else's routine is probably disrupting your circadian rhythm. Everyone wants to wake up early and be a 5 or 6 a.m. warrior, but does that truly work for you? Instead of jumping into trying to be an early riser, just try waking up 30 minutes earlier than you normally do and go from there. You don't have to be up at 6 a.m. to get work done, especially if you know you go to sleep at 12 a.m. I used to think that I wasn't a morning person, but I'm really just not an early morning person because by 9 a.m. I am a yapper. Like, I cannot shut up. And I also do sometimes want to work out, but that is typically when I'll try to like start my day, usually by engaging in my comments, liking other people's stuff on Instagram. That is typically what I am doing at 9 a.m. And this is also typically when I am hungry. But between you and I do tend to miss my window. And oh, I know that's bad. What I eat is pretty decent, but my timing is trash. I often work through my hunger. I don't hit my protein goals some days, and my fiber intake isn't the best. I do eat healthy-ish, but I do want to get to a point where I'm eating what my body craves and not just what's around. I can't tell anyone what to eat, so I don't have too much advice here because that's really personal. But I can tell you that your diet controls a lot. So many health issues are linked to your gut. Don't sleep on your nutrition. The other night, my dad was preparing a steak and my mouth started watering and I had to clutch my pearls for a second because I was like, why is this happening? But my body was obviously craving red meat, probably iron, and I just kind of had to let it happen. And that steak did end up being really good, by the way. Another thing that happened was I was craving something sweet, but I didn't really want cake or chocolate or any like candy like taffy or anything like that. So I cut up a pear. And I am so embarrassed at how quickly I ate that pear. But sometimes your body just wants certain things and you don't really know it until you actually have it. Eating when you're actually hungry and what your body craves and even needs is worlds better than a strict diet, in my opinion. And I would also say the same for working out. My body yearns to have a good stretch pretty much daily. I'm not sure if it's my age or the fact that I don't move as much as I used to, maybe a little bit of both. Stretching is at the top of my list in terms of fitness right now. That and simply being more flexible. Of course, I still love my mat Pilates and always will, but a good stretch feels like a big hug these days. Working out is also a very personal thing that I don't have too much advice on, but moving daily is important, especially if you live a more sedentary lifestyle. You don't have to lift weights or be a Pilates princess to meet the goals you set for yourself. But if there is a goal in mind for fitness, you need to move daily. I lift and do Pilates pretty regularly, although in the last few weeks I have been slacking and I really need to get back into it. I am leaning more into Pilates lately because honestly, the gym just sucks. Once the new year hits, I'm really kind of not trying to be around a bunch of people. And so I just like to work out at home. Also, I really do love Pilates, specifically mat Pilates. I think mat Pilates is slept on. A lot of people love the reformer. I just prefer it, at least for right now. I may end up changing my mind once I do more reformer, but I don't know. The mat is very much underrated. My goal is to work out every day, just starting this week. I don't want to make any empty promises, but I do really want to just work out every day this week and try to keep up with it next week. But again, like I said, I don't want to make any empty promises. I had to save the best for last: organization. I am a very clean person, but I am junky. I absolutely suck at being organized, but I'm slowly learning. Because I have so many multiple passions, I have a lot of things. For the most part, those things are organized, but it takes one little session of whatever passion to mess up the organization. The goal is to be obnoxiously organized. Being organized is actually going to help with so many things in your life. Anytime my room is tidy and just put together, I feel like I can focus better and I'm more creative and I can brainstorm really well and I can just focus so much better. Even this script right here was written in a fairly tidy room. Obviously, there are some things that I could pick up and put in their home, but that's just the daily things that I tend to do these days. You won't have to waste time searching for things if everything has a home. Maintaining order helps you build a really good relationship with your belongings, so you're not looking at them as just junk or just things. Taking care of your home is a way of honoring your space and yourself. I do believe that when you honor your space and yourself, you actually are building a better version of you. I believe that organization and cleanliness in general are like top 3 things that you should be focused on if you do want to better your life. At the end of the day, becoming a better version of yourself isn't about forcing yourself into someone else's routine. It's about figuring out exactly what works for you. Some days you're going to be so productive and some days you won't, and you're going to feel bad about it, but honestly, that's just life. The goal is never perfection, but it is consistency and discipline. Heavy on the discipline part. A lot of this is really just baby steps and small shifts that compound over time. Please, please, please don't get caught up in thinking that you have to do everything all at once. None of this is going to happen overnight. This takes years. With organization, I am still learning, and I've tried to be organized probably since like 2017, but it is a hard skill to adapt to. It is about building habits, and when you fall off, it's really hard to get back on. I think it's also really important to pay attention to those in-between moments when you are trying to become a better version of yourself, because those are the moments that really do matter. Those moments when you do feel kind of like a failure and you do want to give up, but you decide not to. Those moments matter the most. So like I said before, if you do plan on adopting any of these things into your life, start small. When it comes to waking up or trying to figure out your circadian rhythm, really try to lean into what really works for you. For me, this is a very intuitive journey. I try to just listen to what my body wants and needs. And when it comes to diet and moving my body and mental health and all that, I listen to my body, and I think everybody needs to do that. You want to find different ways to implement new routines or systems and just habits into your life without it feeling like a punishment. That is one of the things that I tend to do. I really try to lean into being intuitive. Instead of having this super structured list of things that I just do, I try to lean into it very intuitively. That to me is what becoming a better person looks like. And there's really no aesthetic to it, although there can be if you want it to be, but I definitely think you have to do what works for you. So tell me, what small shift do you think that you can make today? Let me know in the comments. This was a very hard video for me to film because I did script it, but my script stopped making sense at one point. So I was just like, oh my God, okay. And I was just coming up with things at the top of my head. So yeah, bear with me if it kind of seemed a little disjointed, but I was definitely trying. You guys also tell me in the comments if you like this style of video. I am, like I said, trying to be more intuitive, and this is like the most intuitive type of filming that I've been doing, and I just really love how it flows. The only thing is these videos do seem to be very short, and I have a feeling, I haven't edited it yet, but I do feel like this is going to be another short one. But you tell me if you mind that, like if you love this, hit that like button, and that'll tell me if I need to keep making this style of video. So if you made it this far, leave a sun in the comments for spring, and hopefully not a crazy hot summer, but you know, fingers crossed. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.